This team needs to show me something for me to believe that they're going to make a run in the tournament.
I think they can have a chance of going over 35 wins without a problem.
Just stepping up from the 4 points to the 17, she's just dropping threes like there's no tomorrow.
But chemistry is an underrated key in college basketball.
That was by far the best game I've seen them play.
This is Hall Talk, and that's how the chalk talks.
What's up, Pirate Nation, and welcome to PTV's Hall Talk. I'm your host for the evening, Ryan Flannery, and this is our final show of the semester, so we're going to be wrapping it up in style, talking about Seton Hall's first ever NCAA volleyball tournament appearance and the hot starts between men's and women's basketball really in quite some time, guys. And I'm going to introduce my panel here. It's John Fanta and George Balekji talking about the very best in Seton Hall sports. So, guys, what's up? Welcome. And last show of the semester, we got to finish it off in style.
It's a great start to the semester. We see how well we've been doing from women's volleyball to women's golf as well. And success of both basketball teams. It's a great time to be a Pirate right now, ready to wrap it all up.
John, the men's team, and as well as the women's team, too, they're off to their best starts for the men since 2009, for the women since 2003. The time to be a Seton Hall Pirate fan is now.
It absolutely is now, Ryan, and these two teams just have so many talented weapons as well. And when you get that type of talent in here on the men's side, when you get that type of a recruiting class in here and you see that they're having early success, obviously, long way to go. But the least you can do at this time of year and what you want to do, you got to figure out a way to win. I don't care how you do it, but with such young talent, you got to figure out a way to get them to know how to win at this stage of the game. That's what the men's team is doing. And on the women's side, Tony Bozzella continues to deliver. If there's a time for women's basketball to succeed, to make something happen, to be able to build for the future, they've got to start it this year, and they got to get in the NCAA tournament. If there were ever a time, it is now for that program, because for the future of it, they could do a lot for themselves if they're able to get into the big dance, and they have a really, really good shot. They have to salvage it this year.
So we'll talk about the basketball team in a bit, but let's speak on a team that has been doing a lot of winning and has a future success for sure in the women's volleyball team. They made their first ever NCAA tournament appearance in the Seattle region after they lost in the championship game in the Big East to Creighton. Creighton also made it. Marquette made it as well, the team that they beat in the semifinals. But Seton Hall, look, I mean, the first time ever, that's a big accomplishment for Allie Yeager in her 8th season. This team is led by the Manthorpe twins all season long, Big East honor roll after Big East honor roll. John, I know you were there in Arizona covering the team. Certainly an excellent experience for you. So we'll start with you. I mean, what did you see from this team, not only in the Big East tournament because you were there as well in Milwaukee, but what did you see from this team that led to this much success, and really nobody saw this coming from them this year?
Well, they had a really good defense, and you want to start to talk about the Manthorpe sisters, but even they'll tell you, Ryan, that this volleyball team was very, very good defensively. You have Ashani Rubin, who was just outside in the top 10 in the country in blocks. Just a fantastic all-around blocker, about 1.5 per set. Amanda Hansen not far behind with about 1 1/3 per set. They both were really strong in the front line. So you had good blocking. You had the Big East Libero of the Year in Tessa Fournier and a regional honoree in Fournier who continued to deliver 5.5 digs per set. When you have those types of numbers and you're able to produce that in Tessa Fournier, I look at Fournier and I think Allie Yeager. That is what I think of when I think of Fournier, because they were able to get her ready to take over for Elisa Warren, and there was no drop-off in play at the libero position. That's huge.
Yeah, absolutely.
So it starts defensively, and this team had it ready to go defensively. And then they had an outstanding outside hitter in Stacey Manthorpe. Shelby and Fournier able to earn the regional honors, as well as Stacey Manthorpe getting the honorable mention. And then it also goes back to coaching. Allie Yeager had some pressure on her entering this year after a rough 2013. The Pirates needed to get it done this season. They got it done, and Allison Yeager earning Regional Coach of the Year honors and Big East Coach of the Year honors. And now for her program, she's got a very, very big recruiting class coming in. I believe 9 freshmen in all. This is an exciting program to watch, and started with defense.
And you lose, John talked about losing, the Big East Libero in the year last year in Elisa Warren, and you gain another one this year in Tessa Fournier, whether it's her, Amanda Hansen, also Sarah Connell as well. She really stepped up this year as a junior. A lot of veteran leadership, and you also had the freshman from Maryland. She was awesome. She's so little. She's about only
Sarah Kennewick.
Sarah Kennewick is only not even 5 feet. And George, she stepped up huge for Allie Yeager at that young age. So we'll close out with you talking about Seton Hall volleyball. I know you have a lot to say, but again, this team they were picked 6th in the Big East preseason poll, and they just completely outshined everybody, and they proved them wrong for sure. And that's what Alison Yeager wanted to do coming into this season.
And right you are there. When you saw the Pirates and on the winning streak they were going into Big East play, they were getting ready to host Creighton at home. But when I was talking to Manthorpe Twins, even they couldn't help but look ahead to Marquette. They didn't have the best history of them, always struggling to beat them, and finally they get that monkey off their back. They beat Marquette 3-2 in Milwaukee. Marquette was the host school of that. John, you were there for it, and you know just how big that was for the Twins. And like he mentioned before, Ashani Rubin, what you get with the senior leadership between both Manthorpes and Ashani Rubin, there's 105 starts there. You get all the experience in the world. And you also go ahead and you look at the team they lost to in BYU. They weren't a chump team. They were with the top blocking team in the nation, the top. Yeah. And right now they're in the Elite Eight, about to take on number 6 Florida State for the tournament. I think one of the best things you look at is when you see the historic season that this women's volleyball team had. They didn't lose to a team that got ousted in the next tournament, and they weren't stuck sitting at home thinking, oh, we could have beat them. They lost to a very formidable foe, a very good team in Florida State, and a great conference in the ACC. And what the noise they were able to make this year, I think it's only a shadow of what they're going to do. It was a great note for the Manthorpes to leave on, and I think that they set the tone for what Tessa Fournier is ready to take over with this team.
And before we wrap it up, guys, on volleyball here, John, quick thoughts. Does this team make it again next year? Do they make it in the next couple years? I mean, it just seems like this team has a lot going for them right now.
Well, right now, looking ahead to next year, this team, they need to figure out a way to get Molly Grammer at the outside hitter position. She's got to figure out a way to take the reins, or they have to figure out what they're going to do at the outside hitter position. They have Grammer and Schroeder back, Danny Schroeder. But those two have always benefited from the play of Stacey Manthorpe. Now they got to take it up for themselves. So offensively, this team's going to struggle. They don't have a setter. I mean, they're going to try to see if Sarah Connell can take up that position. We'll see what they do at setter. But next year's a rebuilding year. Yeah. It is a rebuilding year. But they got it done. They got in that large berth. And that says a lot when you're on the recruiting pathway that it didn't take you to win your conference to get into the NCAA tournament. You were able to get in with your line of work, your body of work. That says a lot. That can say a lot to further recruits. And for Allie Yeager, she can build for the future. Next year, rebuilding year, but watch out because this program can be 4th, 5th in the Big East, could try to slide into that tournament once again, which would be big for them.
And right, John is there. I agree with him when you look at the long term of what it will do for recruiting. And for me to step up, it's going to come down to Molly Grammer, Amanda Hansen. They're really going to have to be the leaders, and they're going to have to step up big time for this team. But with losing the Manthorpes, you got to be a realist here. And like you said, it's going to be a rebuilding year. Yeah. And you have a lot of strong youth and a lot of potential. A great recruiting class coming in as well. Look for a year off from the Pirates, but it's not going to be long before they're back on top in the Big East.
All right, so as we close off Seton Hall volleyball in the discussion, for PTV this year and Hall Talk, we want to wish them, a happy holiday, first of all, and congratulations for making it to the first NCAA tournament appearance in Seton Hall history. And when we come back, we'll do a little chalk talk. We haven't done that in a while, guys, and we'll talk about the men's and women's team. We'll compare the two and talk about what they're doing right and what they're doing wrong going into their, I believe it's 9th game of the season for both. Mm-hmm. So we'll be right back.
Dave, are you ready? Where's Aaron? Where's anybody?
Oh, she wasn't ready! Boomtown!
Welcome back to Hall Talk, guys. We're back from our commercial break, and now George and John, we're going to get to the whiteboard here and talk a little chalk talk for men's basketball. Now, we got to start with, of course, Isaiah Whitehead. This guy has been playing out of his mind the past couple games, averaging 18.6 points per game, shooting 52% from the field, 4.4 assists per game, and 4 rebounds a game. You really can't get any better than that after that slow start against Mercer. John, I'll start with you. What has gotten into Whitehead? I mean, it seems now he's finally starting to play to his potential.
Yeah, he's finding his groove. He's on the court, and he's trying to get comfortable. Right. And now it looks like he finally really is comfortable. And what I like about this kid is not only can he score, and we knew he could score. He's got the shot, showed up on the big stage against Rutgers. But, George, what needs to continue to go right for this offense, they need Whitehead to be a distributor. When he's distributing, this team's firing on all cylinders because he takes up so much attention.
Yeah.
What I noticed out of Wichita State was they got all over him. And then what they said is, we're not going to let you pass the ball to anybody else in the first half. And it was only him scoring. Seton Hall needs Isaiah Whitehead to also be a distributor. 4.4 assists, so important here for them to continue to have success.
And George, before I get to you, I think the only problem is Whitehead's the only one contributing, and especially in that Wichita State game. And I don't want to say every game, but in Wichita State, he was the only one that showed up.
And right he is there. John describes how he distributes the ball and how pivotal it is to the offense. You have to agree with that. Because Sterling Gibbs, he's a scorer, not a passer. And what Jaren Cena is, you see him taking on the role. He sits in the corner and shoots the threes. What I want to see out of Cena, like you look at the Illinois State game, 2 for 2 from three-point, he can't stop shooting there. But like John said, you go back to Isaiah Whitehead. They put all the attention to him. 17 points in the first half, and you see that fall off in the second. It was a freshman game against seniors. That's what you look at. You take away the numbers and the letters on front of the jerseys. It wasn't Shockers versus Pirates. It was experience versus non.
Yeah.
It opened up their eyes, but what you got to look at is that they went into a hostile territory because that crowd was ready for them. They went out to a hot start, and after 11-0 run, Wichita State took the lead and did not look back. With Isaiah Whitehead, he found his comfort. He stopped forcing shots. And what I think the best part of him is whenever he's on the baseline and sees a one-on-one situation, he takes on the defender. Because right now, the teams they have faced, there's no one good enough to stop him every single time he goes to the basket.
Well, there's no doubt about that. And then you take a look at the big men. You look at Delgado and Mobley. And Mobley off to a great start in the beginning of the season. He slowed down a little bit. He's still averaging 8 points per game, 4 rebounds. And you take a look at Angel Delgado, the freshman center, who he might be undersized, but his heart and his play have been oversized for sure.
This is everything you could have hoped for in a freshman and more. This kid goes to work, and he takes his lunch with him, and he goes in. He is feeding right now on anybody that it comes in his pathway. Angel Delgado is what you want in a freshman. Hungry, knows his role, loves his role. I love a kid who says, I want to rebound the basketball. Still trying to find out how he's going to score with it when he gets it, but this kid is hungry. I mean, he is going to work for the Pirates, and they need him to.
I'll switch it to you, George. Let me tell you who he reminds me of. He reminds me of Ben Wallace. You remember Ben Wallace? Of course, you're a Cavs fan, the Detroit Pistons. He loves to do the dirty work, George, right?
Ben Wallace, Dennis Rodman, whoever you want to call him. Me being a Lord of the Rings nerd, I call them the two towers, all right? 8.4 points per game, 8.2 points per game, and Angel gets in there 9 rebounds per game. What I saw was a concern for me. He had 1 point against Illinois State. Freddie Lynch at 6'10", 250 really bodied him. But what you got to give credit to, we only go to him when we lose, we never go to him when we win. Kevin Willard did an exceptional job of giving Delgado the help on defense. 6'10", 250 Kevin Larson, Angel Delgado goes down, has another double-double. You don't see freshmen, 6'9", undersized as he is. He has a small body.
Yeah, he
hasn't grown into it yet. Yeah. You don't see them playing like this. Willard calls him a Dennis Rodman. You got to give him that. And what I think about the best part about him is I see maturity. I asked him about that, how the fall off he had against Freddie Lynch, the recovery he had against Kevin Larson. He goes, I got into my own head. I let Freddie Lynch's simple presence affect my play, and I can't let that happen again. A freshman says that? Come on now. This team is experienced and mature as it is for being a bunch of unexperienced Division I minutes-wise players.
They're very experienced, but I think they really needed this game at Wichita State because they did play scared in the first half, and of course, that's the big mark too. 14 turnovers per game, that has to be decreased. They have to shoot better from the free throw line, but they started playing well towards the end of the game in the final 4 minutes, and you can't do that. You cannot play scared against the top 10 team or top 25 team in the country. So mosey on over to more struggles for the Pirates here on the right side. We have Rashid Anthony, only 2 rebounds per game. He's a big boy. He can get more than that. You have Cena shooting 26% from the three-point line. He's a shooter, much better shooter than that. So look for him to up that, obviously. And then you have Wichita State. You had 18 turnovers, only 6 assists, and Whitehead had 3 turnovers. He was 4 of his last 5. So, again, this game, it was their first struggle of the year.
Well, what you look at with Rashid Anthony, he's the big man coming off the bench. He gives Delgado and Brandon the relief. He has to pull down more boards. And when you go down with Willard, like he has to have a 3-guard set with Cena, Gibbs, and Whitehead on the floor, if you have 18 turnovers and just 6 assists, that's not going to spell success, no matter who you're playing. But what I look at is the upside. You go opposite of Anthony to Desi Rodriguez. When I was watching the Rutgers game, he noticed instantly he only finished with 3 points. His shot wasn't falling. What does he do? He goes out and gets 11 rebounds. He is scrappy as well. He has a lot of heart as well, and he's really crafty. And he always incorporates it into his game, and I think that's what you get from him. But going back, and Cena, like I said, 2 for 2 of Illinois State. Since then, just 26% from three-point. This guard play does an exceptional job of stretching the floor for the big men. And I think Cena really needs to step up and get back into his groove of just shooting.
And here's the thing for this team going forward. They're going to have to find the boost that Desi Rodriguez gave them against Rutgers. They're going to have to find that overlooked boost. Might be overlooked at first, but it really is important for them to get somebody to continue to rebound the basketball. I love Delgado because he loves to rebound the ball. That's his priority. The Pirates don't have any other player like that right now. They don't have a player who makes rebounding their priority. Anthony, he's not getting a good feel for it on the floor. And what I look at is this. Here's the key for this team going forward, Ryan. Isaiah Whitehead, you see it. 3+ turnovers for the last 5. He's being asked to do a lot. He's got to do a lot. The fact of the matter is this, though. If this team doesn't find some balance offensively, and it's Isaiah Whitehead, leading scorer, a man amongst boys in terms of scoring category, that's not good for Seton Hall. They have to find balance, and the way that they can do that is if Whitehead can figure out a way to find the passing lanes. It's something that a freshman, it takes time to become accustomed to, but teams are basically doing this to Whitehead. They're saying, you can hurt us, but if nobody else hurts us, you're not good enough to beat us.
It makes a lot of sense. So can St. Peter's do that on Sunday before we wrap it up here on Hall Talk? They play the St. Peter's Peacocks this Sunday, a team they lost to last year in big-time upset fashion. What do we see, guys? George, start with
I
you.
was there last year. I was on call for WSOU, and I got to tell you, that was a disaster in the rock. Desi Washington, there was ice through his veins, and he hits a
40
go-ahead
points.
three.
Yeah,
right after Brian Oliver hits the buzzer beater, sent to overtime. But what you get with this team is that they will figure it out. What has to happen is both Whitehead and Gibbs have to score efficiently for this team to continue and have consistent success. Gibbs did finish with 19 points, but it was a kind of a fluke, 2 3-point shots going down the stretch. That's why it was a 9-point game. They need to both find a way to play amongst each other and to spread out their scoring, but they also have to work it down low. I don't see St. Peter's pulling off the same feat. This is a much better Seton Hall team. This is a much more confident Seton Hall team, much more confident Kevin Willard. They don't get it. Seton Hall comes out to W against St. Peter's home in the Rock.
I don't know how much better this team is yet. It's still so early. Seton Hall, close. Close. St. Peter's is a basketball team that matches up very well with what the Pirates do. Desi Washington, outstanding. Travis Weiss at point guard. If he plays well, everybody feeds off him. St. Peter's will be in this game.
Right, real quick, George.
Well, you look at St. Peter's 18-point win over Rutgers. They got another big win off of them, but they're a team that always brings it when it comes to those in-state rivalries between us and Rutgers. This will be competitive, but I have the Pirates coming out on top.
This is close. It's not competitive. It's very tight.
All right, guys, so I have the Pirates too, but we'll see. It's going to be a great game. I think closer than people think. I think John's right. But that's going to wrap it up for the last Hall Talk of the fall semester for us, guys. It was a blast doing it. I know I haven't been on as much, but it was a blast. Everybody does great. Shout out to Emily Mastroboni and Lauren O'Connor, our directors, our producers, our bosses. Everybody have a great holiday. Cheer on the Pirates, men's and women's, whatever. Happy Kwanzaa, Christmas, all that. Hanukkah, and we'll see you. I had to do something there for the holidays.